Welcome back, guys. This is Pauper Ponderings. My name is Austin. Hopefully you knew that, and hopefully you're as excited as I am that I'm back. In the new digs, we're not in a warehouse anymore. As you can see, we've got a nice room. You can't really see it, but yeah, I'm excited to be back. Real life got in the way for a little bit, and now we're back, better than ever, hopefully. And I'm excited to go on making Pauper Ponderings for you guys every single week, like I was doing before. I even got some special treats here. And yeah, but before we get started, I'd like to thank our sponsors, FusionGamingOnline.com and the Manabase. Make sure you check out the Manabase, www.themanabase.com and www.FusionGamingOnline.com. So make sure you check them out. And this week, we have an extra special treat. We are actually playing the best deck in Legacy. That is Popeye Stompy. Popeye Stompy is our deck of choice. There it is right there. So what we are looking to do is we're looking to put Rishadan Cutpurse into play numerous times and make our opponents sacrifice a lot of permanents. So when Rishadan Cutpurse enters the battlefield, each opponent sacrifices a permanent unless he or she pays 1. So, in conjunction with cards like Cloud Shift, and Siren's Ruse, which is the card that essentially broke Legacy. 1 in a blue, instant exile target creature you control, then return that card to the battlefield under its control. If it was a prior draw card. So, what we're looking to do is play one of these early, hopefully off of a Surprise and Scary, which is, again, in that Legacy deck. Turn 2, play a Cutpurse. Turn 3, if we're lucky, we can go like Siren's Ruse plus Cloud Shift, or double Siren's Ruse, and hopefully they're on no lands. This deck has a tough time closing the game out, though, because our creatures are so small. We have a 1-1, a 2-1, a 1-2 that could be a 2-3, and a 1-1. That we have Pirate's Cutlass. So this is a draft special here. 3 mana for an equipment. When it enters the battlefield, you can attach it to a pirate you control. All of our creatures are pirates, and that creature gets +2/+1. So we're looking to make some 4/4 flyers, some 3/2 flyers, and the Cutpurse being a 3/2 is still pretty good as well. So that's kind of our creature base. Then we have our helper spells, if you want to call them that. We have 4 Gigadrows. So what this card is going to do is it's going to help us make sure they don't have mana up, because if they have mana up, the Cutpurse just becomes terrible, right? That's just kind of why that card did not see play. So with Gigadrows, we're going to be able to hopefully tap down our opponent's lands, and then the Cutpurse will be that much more effective. And this card is very difficult to counter due to Replicate. We also have Withdraw, so this is blue, return target creature to its owner's hand, and then return another target creature to its owner's hand unless its controller pays 1. So what this is looking to do is, again, you're looking to make them pay mana and then just destroy them with Rishadan Cutpurse. That's kind of the draw. Another thing is that Withdraw is actually quite a powerful spell in Pauper. A lot of the lands in these 2 and 3 color decks come into play tapped. So what you can do is a lot of the times you can just nab 2 creatures, and double blue bounce 2 creatures is a very powerful effect. It also works with your own creatures. You can bounce things like, the Siren Lookout or the Rishadan Cutpurse to get some more value or block, because Rishadan Cutpurse is not going to be winning any combats. Now, we're also playing Rushing River as a 1-of here. It's 2 in a blue, return target non-land from the source hand, and you can sacrifice a land and return another one. So again, you're just kind of edging in on that point of making them cast 2 spells a turn to try to get them to tap out, and then using your Cutpurse and any other cards to really punish them on that front. Then we play Ristic Study, the Commander Staple, 2 in a blue. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, you may draw a card unless that player pays 1. So it kind of just works into that theme. This is kind of a really good card against control. You're going to be drawing a lot of cards off of it, and it does a lot of work, especially on the play against a lot of decks because of how tight the mana is in this format. And finally, we've got 4 Preordain, because it's just the best card filtering spell available to us. Playing 20 lands, it's a little bit low, especially for some of the higher drops in this deck, but playing a card like Preordain is definitely a welcome addition. And then the boy here, Muldrifter. Card's just so good. 5 mana, 2/2, draw 2 cards with a vote for 2, or for 3, sorry. The card is just very good. It works. It's going to work well with Cloud Shift. It's going to work well with Siren's Ruse. It's going to work well with Withdraw. The card just kind of asks to be in this deck, and it is a welcome addition. So the deck itself has been, I've played a couple matches with it. It's pretty fun, but there are some issues, and I'll go over them in a little bit. Moving over to the sideboard, we have real removal in the form of Journey to Nowhere, um, just because you need it. This deck is it's very tempo based, but the creatures are very small. So in a combination of a tight tempo deck and your creatures being small, the reason the Delver works is because all of their threats hit so hard. This deck, their threats don't hit as hard, so sometimes you need to bring in Journey to Nowhere if if they have like a Carapace Forger or something really big that's really pressuring your life. Well, sometimes you need a Journey to Nowhere. Then for Tron, we have Spreading Seas. This card again is just very good. It's going to do a good job of hopefully cutting the Tron deck off of that crucial piece, and then also allowing you to Rishadan Cut Purse them down a little bit. Next up, we have Boomerang, which is another card that is kind of similar to the Withdraw and the Ristic Study. You're just looking to, most of the time, bounce lands with this card. You're really a mana denial deck masquerading as this Stompy deck, and I guess that's what Stompy has wanted to do in the history of Magic, is really deny mana and then win with whatever nonsense creatures you have in play, and that's really what we're looking to do with Boomerang. On the play, bouncing their land, untapping, and then hopefully casting a Rishadan Cut Purse is a very, very good game. And we have another Ristic Study for that control matchup and that super, aggro type of removal style decks. Ristic Study is just going to draw you so many cards. And then finally, one of my favorite cards is actually Far Away. It's 2 and a blue for a sorcery. And each creature, its controller has to pay 1 or sacrifice it. I would like to control this. So this is quite the card. It is very similar to the effect that Tabernacle at Pendrell Vale has on the game, but in just a one-shot. And it is quite powerful against some decks like Elves, decks like Goblins, anything that's going to be going wide. It is quite powerful. So, this deck, I've played it in a couple matches and I've started to realize some things. Against Affinity, I'm going to go ahead and say you probably have like a 20% chance to win, and I think that's being generous. They put so many permanents into play, where they have Chromatic Star, they have Ichor Wellspring. All of these cards are just death sentence for this deck, and it sounds ridiculous. Like how can this nonsense little artifact be a death sentence? But when your play is Rishadan Cut Purse, it's a 3-mana 1/1 that essentially draws them a card. That just feels so bad. And I was even talking to the guy that I was playing it. At one point, I was on the play. I went land, pass. He goes land, pass. I go tap, land, pass, preordain. He goes Carapace Forger. I untap. I play a tap, land, pass. He then plays another Carapace Forger, attacks me for 4. I'm able to withdraw both of his creatures. So both Carapace Forgers went back to his hand. I untapped, and then played Rishadan Cut Purse plus a Cloud Shift to make him sack 2 lands down to 1 land, and I lost that game handedly. It was not close. Because there's so little pressure on the board from this deck, he was able to just untap, play an Ichor Wellspring, and then I could no longer Cloud Shift the Rishadan Cut Purse for value. So Affinity, I hope we don't run into it. It's going to be very tough if we do. But I am excited to play against any sort of Delver deck or any sort of control deck. I think this deck is going to be quite strong, actually, and I'm excited to see where it goes. So thanks for coming back, guys. I'm glad, or I don't want to say I'm glad that you missed me, but it feels nice that you guys missed me, and we're going to see for round number 1. I'll see you guys in just a little bit, and